So we're going to go ahead and talk about this whole situation with the SNAP benefits, because I mean today, at least at the time of my recording, it is November 2nd, and I know November 1st was like, okay, are they getting cut or are they not? From my understanding, they have been or in the process of. Okay, so here's the thing: we're gonna first go off and look at a video of Miss Jasmine Crockett, just talking about SNAP benefits, and then I got some other videos that I do want to go ahead and play, and one probably in the title where some guys talking about being happy that SNAP is being cut, but let's go ahead and play this one first.
Too many American people that are on SNAP benefits. But that means that you got to not look necessarily at SNAP. You got to look at the reasons that they're on SNAP. We know that over 1/4 of these people that are in receipt of SNAP benefits are actually the working poor in this country, right? We have not increased the minimum wage, and I don't know when, and the minimum wage still sits at $7 while everything else is going up, whether we're talking about the cost of food or whether we're talking about the cost of rent or whether we're talking about the cost to actually try to engage in home ownership, if we're talking about the interest rates. And we know that under the failed leadership of this administration, this country has seen a loss of 1 million jobs, and that's just in the first few months. He's not even had a full year. So no, we need to work on economic policies that will put people into a position in which they are not the working poor, where they are still needing the $6 a day to eat. So yes, we need to talk about it, but I don't think that SNAP is the problem. I think that that is the resolution, or at least that is a symptom of the problem. We have a bigger problem in which we have billionaires that are continuing to rise up every single day and are getting richer and richer, to the extent that there was talk about Elon becoming a trillionaire, the first one in this country or in the world. Yet we still have people that have to go to the food bank and go to work, that have to sit there and go to make sure that they've got money on their SNAP and EBT cards. Like, that's a problem, and I do think that we need to address it.
I 100% agree with what she said. Something I do want to go ahead and mention is people think that when you are poor, you automatically are getting SNAP, welfare, Section 8. That ain't true. You could be poor like myself. You could be poor, and they'll go ahead and say, and you make less than $50,000 a year. And you could go ahead and say, okay, I want to go, let me apply for these benefits so I can get some help with this food, right? And they'll go ahead and say, you make too much money. Beat the streets. And then you're like, but I need the money. I mean, I'm struggling. My bills is too much. What are you talking about? And they'll say, well, you're not making like 30,000 or, and I'm, before taxes are taken out, you're not making 30,000 to 20,000. So you gotta deal with that on your own, and that's something, because they'll go and say like you're like middle class, or whatever the case may be. But that's one of the main issues that I do notice is when you hear these conversations, it's always ultra rich and then the real poor, ultra poor down here. Okay. And you often hear that people don't talk about the middle class. I'm not talking about the upper middle class people making 100,000, 80,000. I'm not. Okay. I'm talking about that group right here who's making around 40,000 because you're not poor enough to need benefits, which is crazy. I'm talking about that middle section right there, where it just seems like a lot of societies have done this, where look at Brazil, for example, where you're either rich or you're not. There's no like middle territory. It's just you either got money or you don't. And if you don't, oh well, and we'll go ahead and treat you like India and put you in a caste. I mean, that's essentially what this is. If you're poor, you're just essentially gonna stay poor. Nothing else, unless you're, and I don't count these people. Your entertainers, that's your athletes, your singers, your rappers, your actors. I'm not talking about those kind of people, okay? Because most people aren't one of those people. Most people aren't at that top position where they're making that kind of money. They're making buku dollars. You know what I mean? But I do notice that middle group is almost always being left out of the discussion in regards to this. But something I do want to actually switch gears on Well, you know what? Let me finish elaborating with her. SNAP, like she said, is the effect of what we already have, which is a broken system. People would not have a whole bunch of medical debt and need to be on these certain assistance if we had universal health care. That included your eyes. That included your teeth. Okay? And your overall health. Okay? We don't have that. We have minimum wage that I think it's at $7.25 or $7.50. That's minimum wage, not including tip workers. Okay. And then we have a whole society that's saying, well, I don't want to pay my workers because I'm going to let y'all pay. And then we're going to pressure y'all. Y'all know how these baristas making y'all stuff? I'm going to pressure you to go ahead and tip her. And then she going to get an attitude because you didn't tip her. And that's on you. That's not on me. What? You know what I mean? So you see so much of that constantly. And it's just seen as just being okay. There also is the other issue of lack of jobs. Okay. So a lot of our manufacturing jobs were sent overseas. You get anything, pick it up, pick some random up, it says made in China. And you see that often. These are jobs that Americans did have, but no longer have because it's cheaper. I could just send it over there, pay for the flight, the gas, whatever, the fuel, yeah, and then we'll bring it over here. It's much cheaper. I don't have to pay. I ain't gotta pay that person no $20 an hour. That's why you got people have these sweatshops where they're paying people, $2 an hour, if that. You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, y'all just supposed to be happy. Otherwise, we'll take our business elsewhere. But it's not like y'all even really helping them out. You know what I mean? But these are jobs that we could be having here, but we don't have them here. Then you also have the tax breaks for the rich. You got people in the Senate. You get perpetuity, healthcare, and a job. You know what I mean? So it's just like so many different things. And there's way more layers, certain countries who are in cahoots with us, okay, with the war and a genocide, okay. And then you got that stuff going on. And then you just see more and more and more $1 million, $50 million, $100 million, blah, 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 being sent over here, sent over here, sent over here, sent over. And then meanwhile, you over here like this. It's like, well, where's my money? Can I get some of that? And it's no, forget you. We all out. And then you're just like, well, if you all out, how you giving money over here? And it's just don't talk about it. And we're just all supposed to be like, okay, well, whatever, but child, let's go ahead and actually take a look at this one video in particular in regards to SNAP benefits being cut. And this man is actually kind of gloating in regards to it. Let's go ahead and look at it.
Man, I'm really glad that these food stamps are being taken away because, that shit was, all that government assistance shit was designed to keep the black man out of the household anyway. That was the incentive. Don't have a man in the house, and these women get to have the government assistance. All that money in food stamps, feeling like they don't need a man. I'm glad that food stamps still gone. Now the average guy that makes $40,000 to maybe $50,000 a year, it will be appreciated and loved on more now. Yeah, all that $100,000 stuff, yeah, that stuff ain't never made sense. You know what I'm saying? It's possible for a man to make that, but the average guy ain't making it. Maybe the average guy can get some love now, man. Thank you, Trump. The average man can get some love now. Because these women, man, have become so delusional over these past few years, it don't even make no sense, man. I'm glad they taking these food stamps away. I'm 100%, like, I'm really utterly I'm in bliss right now. Like, I'm glad they taking it away. Maybe the average man can get some love now. Yeah. Go text Bob the electrician back, love. He waiting on you. And he gonna treat you right.
Okay, so in regards to this, one, it sounds like his seatbelt was not on. Can we please buckle them seatbelts in? Because his car's moving and I'm hearing the beeps. Please, just for your own safety, just and then you're done. Okay, or it'd be like, and you're done. Okay, let's go ahead and do that first. But secondly, So I guess only women, and let's keep it real, he's talking about black women. I guess only black women are the only demographic in America that's getting SNAP. Let's keep it real. If there was a program only for black people, it would not be in existence. So you're telling me that kids need to be giving you some love, grandmas, elderly folk, and every other person that is poor or po is supposed to be giving you some love. If you need people to be struggling in order to love you, I think that says a little bit more about you than what it says about them. And plus, electricians make some good money too, if we're going to keep it real. You know, for me, the whole gloating that someone is struggling, that ain't cute. That ain't cool. You know what I mean? To me, I'm just like, what are we even talking about? You're saying, well, I mean, that was ridiculous. People over here wanting this $100,000. And now, do I think that whole give me $100,000 thing is ridiculous? Yes. I always thought that whole argument was ridiculous. I need you to be 6 foot, got a 6-inch, and make 6 figures. Okay, I always thought that was so ridiculous, especially when you go and look at some of these people who are requesting that and they don't look like they deserve that. No shade. Okay, but with that being said, now people have to, you're saying, because they're going to be starving, their kids may be starving, veterans may be starving, seniors may be starving. Now they all need to go and run to a man that's making $40,000 to $50,000. What are we even talking about here? It's so, y'all, that's so silly to me. Let's go ahead and actually look at some comments before we continue. So this one lady, this was actually posted by her on Threads, okay? And she said patriarchy and misogyny got some black men in such a death grip that they're stumping through life, projecting all these unsolved rage that the world has taught them to have for their black mamas onto black women and the black community as a whole, when the whole time their rage should be directed towards their daddy's patriarchy and white supremacy. Yes. Because that's really all this is. Because you're saying that only black women or only women get SNAP, which is ridiculous. You do realize that's not, it ain't only for women. I mean, what do we even talk about, y'all? But let's continue. There is another comment that said they really thinking about dating and how much they need attention at a time like this. Kids are not going to be fed. People are not going to be fed regardless if you got kids or not. And that's what you're concerned about, is yourself and whether or not you're going to get some poon. Child. Come on. Y'all. Can we do a little bit better? Let's look at this post this lady said. She said, if you're happy about children, the elderly, single parents, and the disabled going without food now are finding it incredibly difficult to get food because of the SNAP benefits stopping next month. This was made October 28th, this year, of course. You're a garbage human being, the end. Now, do you have people who abuse the system here and there? Yes. Am I going to go ahead and say everybody or most of the people are abusing? No. I think those people that abuse, who may get a little bit more, I think those are your outliers. I personally believe that. Okay. But I think majority of people who use it are using it how it's supposed to be used. Okay. To get food. And you're saying, well, I mean, I need y'all to be poor so I can get me some love. I ain't done that in a while. Okay? What are we even talking about? But what I'm actually going to do is go ahead and link a video down below. I'm going to just put like a little screenshot or whatever on the side. And this is just a video of a guy who's making bread from scratch. Okay. And you could go and get a whole bunch of these ingredients and just stockpile them and you can make your own bread and all that. I'm not going to play it because, YouTube be a little weird when I play certain videos that are not like, mainstream media, essentially. But I'm gonna go ahead and just link that down below. I actually like, I mean, he seems very genuine, very sweet about what he's doing, and he's actually up here just making some bread, so you could know how to make it too. But I'm gonna go ahead and actually end the video right here. But let me know what you all think about this down below.